All right, today we're diving into the hidden architecture of our daily lives. We're talking about renting an apartment, landing a job, borrowing something from a neighbor, or even offering a reward. We're going to unpack 4 foundational contracts from Islamic law that give us a really clear and ethical way to think about all of it.
I mean, seriously, think about it for a second. We do this stuff all the time, right? It's second nature. But what's really going on underneath? What are the principles that make sure a deal is fair and that nobody's getting taken for a ride? Well, this is where it gets interesting. Islamic law, or Shari'ah, steps in with a surprisingly practical framework. And this isn't about some dusty, abstract theory. It's a toolkit for promoting justice and making sure everything's above board in these super common, everyday situations. So, here's our game plan. We'll start with the big one, leasing and hiring. Then we'll look at borrowing out of goodwill, and then performance-based rewards. After that, we'll line them all up, compare them, and you'll see how these ancient ideas are absolutely buzzing in the world of modern finance.
Okay, first up is the contract we probably run into the most, Ijarah. This one is the powerhouse that covers both leasing a thing and hiring a person. Okay, so there's this word, usufruct. I know, it sounds a little intimidating, right? But don't worry, it's actually super simple. It just means the right to use and get the benefit from something you don't actually own. So at its core, Ijarah is just a contract to rent either the use of an object or the service of a person. And this brings us to a really, really critical distinction. An Ijarah contract is all about transferring the use of something for a specific amount of time. A sale, on the other hand, what's known as buy, transfers the ownership for good. It's why you can't lease something that gets used up, like a sandwich or money. The whole point is that the item can be returned after you've used it. Makes sense, right? And what's so cool about the concept of Ijarah is how this one single idea neatly covers 2 huge areas of our economic lives that, feel different but are structured pretty much the same way: renting stuff and hiring people. Let's break those down. So the first flavor is exactly what pops into your head when you hear the word lease. It's renting property. You've got a lessor, the owner, who gives an asset, like a car or an apartment, to a lessee, the user. In return, the lessee pays rent. It's a clean, simple exchange, payment for use. Now, the second flavor is employment. And check this out, the logic is identical. An employee is basically leasing their skills and labor to an employer. The payment for that lease, it's called a wage. The usufruct here, the thing being used, is the person's service. Now, even within employment, there are a couple of types. You could be a special employee, dedicated to just one boss. Or you could be a general employee. Think about a consultancy firm, a freelance designer, or your local tailor. They're their own masters, right? They serve lots of different clients and get paid for the specific work they deliver to each one. But here's what's absolutely crucial about Ijarah, the ethical guardrails. The purpose has to be lawful, obviously. The pay has to be spelled out clearly right from the start. And this is a big one. The owner of the asset, or the employer, is responsible for the big risks of ownership and major maintenance. The renter, or the employee, they're only on the hook if they're careless or misuse something. Okay, so Ijarah is a commercial deal. It's about business. But what about all those times when no money changes hands at all? Well, that brings us to our second contract, Arah. And this one is built on a totally different foundation, pure goodwill. Ijarah is really just the formal name for a simple act of kindness, letting someone borrow something totally free of charge. There is zero compensation allowed. Its entire purpose is to build community and help each other out, not to make a profit. The absolute perfect example is lending a book to your friend. They get to enjoy reading it, and their only real job is to take good care of it and give you back that exact same book, not a different copy and not its value in cash. So the rules here are simple, and they're all based on trust. No money. The item has to be something you can use without using it up. The borrower has a duty to return that specific thing. And hey, since it's just a favor, either person can end the deal at any time. No hard feelings. All right, our third and final contract type, ju'ala, is a whole different ballgame. This isn't about renting your time or borrowing an item. This is all about paying for a specific result. You can think of ju'ala as a kind of public challenge or a public offer. You make a promise out loud. I will pay this much to whoever achieves this specific thing. The key is you only pay for success. No result, no reward. It's as simple as that.
And the classic example illustrates this perfectly. You're not hiring a team of people to search for your lost phone. No, you are making a public promise to pay the one person who actually finds it and brings it back. The payment is totally conditional on that successful outcome. The risk of trying and failing, that's entirely on the people who decide to take up the challenge.
Okay, we've gone through all three now, so let's do the fun part. Let's put them all side by side. This is where you can really see the genius and the distinct logic behind each one. This is the aha moment.
Just look at how this breaks down. In Ijarah, payment is a must, and the deal is binding. Then you have Ijarah, totally free, an act of goodwill, and either person can walk away. And finally, Jala, where payment only happens if you succeed, putting all the performance risk on the doer. See how elegant that is? Each one is perfectly designed for a totally different kind of human interaction.
So you might be thinking, okay, that's some interesting legal history, but no way. These aren't just concepts sitting in old books. They are the living, breathing engines behind a ton of modern financial products and social programs you see today.
Ijarah is the absolute backbone of Islamic home and car financing, the whole lease-to-own model. Waqfa, that's the framework for charitable endowments, or WAF, that lend out assets to help people in need. And Juala is the principle behind everything from your sales commission at work to those massive multi-million-dollar innovation prizes for scientific breakthroughs.
But if you only take one thing away from our whole discussion today, let it be this incredibly powerful idea: liability follows benefit. It's such a beautifully simple summary of the ethical heart of all these contracts. It means that whoever gets the main benefit of owning something must also carry the main risks of owning it. It prevents people from unfairly pushing risk onto others who are just renting or working. So the next time you sign a lease or borrow your labor's ladder or work on a commission-based project, just take a second to think. What are those invisible rules of fairness and risk that are shaping your agreement? It's a pretty cool new lens to see our economic world through, isn't it?